And we are live. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Angie's World podcast. I am so happy that with my guest today, we have relationship coach, podcaster of the Relationships and Chill podcast on all platforms. We have the incomparable Coach R. Anthony. Yes, if I had like an applause button, I'd be like,
Thank you.
How are you, Coach?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much for coming to my podcast and tapping in today.
Absolutely. I'm in Angie's world.
Yes, you're in Angie's world. Yes. Listen, guys, I've been really blessed since I started this podcast to have some incredible, human beings. If you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes, Coach. So yeah, like I said, I've been really blessed to have, some incredible individuals on my podcast. And for those of you who checked out my interview with Coach Christina, okay, she mentions you a lot during the interview, that you're her mentor. So I said, you know what? I got to have my boy, Coach R. Anthony, come on the podcast and represent for the fellas.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here for
it. Yeah, I think it's so good, to have you here for the men so they could check it out and connect. And yeah, I think you're just really a great role model, with the work you do. For representing what husbands, what a good husband is, what a great coach is and role model and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just thought it would be really dope to have you on here and get to have the people get to know you a little bit better and get your story and stuff. And I'm just so happy that you agreed to come on.
Hey, listen, I was looking forward to it since you told me about it. I think it's always good to support and to have content and content creators like yourself that people will like. You know what I'm saying? Like every time I've interacted with you, everywhere I've seen you, people love Angie's World. So
thank you.
I've always said, I'm just a squirrel.
Whatever, Coach. Oh my gosh, whatever, Coach. You are so dope, and I just can't wait to get into this interview and have other people see how dope you are. And I always say that, I speak so highly of you, and I've been in so many spaces with you for over a year now, and you definitely have my stamp of approval, and I know you're gonna have everybody else's stamp.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to get into your pod, what you do on Clubhouse, and how you came to mentor, Coach Christina and all the work that you do with clients, right? But before we get into that, tell me a little bit about yourself, because I hear an accent, Coach R. Anthony. Where are you from?
Actually, I'm from Georgia, but I grew up everywhere. So my stepdad was a Marine. So we traveled a lot. We traveled around the world. First, being from a little small town called Noonan, Georgia, and then moving all the way to Oceanside, California. That was the first place we moved. Then we moved from there to Washington, D.C. And then from D.C., we moved to Okinawa, Japan. Then from Okinawa, Japan, went back to Georgia.
Dope.
So it's been it's like a collage of different accents. So depending on where I'm at, different people hear different things. So
I hear South.
Yeah, of course.
I hear South. I definitely do, because you've lived on the West Coast, you lived on the East Coast, and you lived across the world, but the South is in you. I feel like your parents are from the South, right?
Yeah.
So they probably it's in their accents, and probably how you grew up was real Southern and stuff. So it's definitely, you didn't lose the accent.
No, but I've been here for a while. After moving, around, this is where I settled. So I'm back in Georgia. I've been here the longest out of everywhere. So, but yeah, you're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear that. But if I'm out west, they hear, they hear Southern too, I'm sure. But,
yeah,
but they definitely. They don't usually just say they don't usually pin me as just being from the South, but I have been here for a while, so it's probably got thicker
since you got the Southern twang.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So ATL represent. Oh no, not ATL, right? Georgia represent.
Georgia represent. I'm in Augusta now, but yeah, I'm from basic right out. It's considered Metro Atlanta. It's a small little, subset of Atlanta. So it's pretty cool. It's growing though.
You know what's so dope? I went to Atlanta a long time ago because a friend of mine moved out there. And that was the very first time that I had boiled peanuts. I never in my life had boiled peanuts, didn't know what they was because I'm from New York, I'm from the Bronx. And I said, what is this? They had they had boiled peanuts in a big barrel at like a 7-Eleven type gas station type thing. And I
Yeah,
said,
and I
what is
hate.
this?
Ugh.
You don't like them?
No, I don't like no boiled peanuts.
Nah, when
You
I
like
tell
them?
I love them.
You
Every
probably been
single
going up there to New York, spreading the gospel of the boiled peanuts.
I
And
have been. And every time somebody tells me they going down south, I'm like, you better bring me back some boiled peanuts. My homegirl was like, yeah, these are boiled peanuts. They have them in barbecue flavor. They got what you call it? Salt flavor, this flavor. I had her making them at her house. I was like, this is good.
more for you, Angie's World, more for you.
I don't know why you don't like them, coach. You don't know what you missing. And you
'Cause
right out there with the boiled
I like
peanuts.
regular peanut. I just like regular. I'm a simple man. You know what I'm saying? Just give me some regular old peanut. But I get it because it's like a novelty. Like if you
It's
came
really
in,
good.
it's
We
a
don't have them
novelty.
up here.
Exactly. That's probably why. But I just can't do it. Boiled
I'm a
peanut.
savory kind of person. I like savory flavors.
Yeah.
So it's like real seasoned and it's just the seasoning, the flavor, and then the peanut. And you pop the peanut in your mouth and you suck all the juice out and then you eat the peanut. So yeah, I was feeling ATL. So I love that. And what else did I love? Oh, people have such managers. People have such manners out there. The guys were like ma'am and miss. And when they
Mhm.
say that Southern hospitality, I'm like, I could get used to this. The only thing is, I just feel like, and then the club scene was cool. I just feel like sometimes, but I haven't been there in like 20 years, so I don't know if it
Okay.
changed. But I just feel like it could be like a little slow pace. Do you feel like that
Yeah,
in
yeah. Georgia's
Georgia?
very slow. I was just talking to somebody about that the other day. Like it's so. Yeah, I was talking to a couple actually. I was coaching, and they're up north in New Jersey and New York, and we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about that. We were talking about how the pace, because even in relationships, like couples don't take, and this is why I was mentioning it because in relationships, couples don't take stock of the pace that they're moving in and the pressure
Mm-hmm.
and stress that comes with that. So I was saying, like, just as an individual, it causes you being in the South for me, especially, has caused me to like to be more relaxed and observant and pace, right? Because
Right.
the pace is a lot slower here, and so
Mm-hmm.
it gives you time to like breathing room so that other
Mm-hmm.
things so that you can concentrate and focus on other things. So, but that's why
Absolutely.
like a lot of people will move down here, and then it's a different environment, different pace. So and it does help with just overall stress. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I have I was speaking to a real estate agent that lived in New York and then moved to Florida. And
Hmm.
she told me that when she moved to Florida, her anxiety just went away. She had
Hmm.
so much anxiety when she lived in New York. Then when she moved to Florida, her anxiety went down. So I feel like all New Yorkers either move to ATL or Florida. I'm like, oh Lord, I
No,
don't want to.
no, no, no. Don't move here. We got enough people.
I'm
Florida, maybe.
crying.
You can go down to Florida.
No,
Florida,
this
cool.
the whole New York is in Florida. I don't need to go over there and see everybody. Let me go to ATL. Let me go to Atlanta. Let
But
me go
like
to Georgia.
everywhere else is in Atlanta, like New Jersey, Pittsburgh, you know what I'm saying? Philly, they all moved to Atlanta, you know what I'm saying?
Because your
So
money, because if you take the money from up here and you bring it to the South, it
yeah,
stretches. It stretches so much.
it is
I
going
have
up.
friends. I'm sorry.
The things are going up though because of that though.
Yeah.
The
It-
housing has like tripled in like the last 20, like 15, 20 years. The housing market is like tripled here.
I believe it.
Yeah, it's crazy, but they always building, you know what I'm saying? But the traffic that's why I live in Augusta. I used to live in Atlanta, but I moved further out because
Right.
of traffic and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. It's so crazy. Everybody's like, listen, it's too crowded in New York. I need some space because I know my friend that moved out to Atlanta, she was building her house from the ground up. I was
mhm.
like, to do that up here, you gotta be a millionaire. So Yeah, I wish I could make New York money, but live in Atlanta or live in the South. That would be dope.
That
I
would
would,
be.
instead of having to take that pay cut if I move, that's like the only thing.
Yeah, but the cost of living goes down too, so
Yeah, exactly.
they're probably about the same.
Absolutely. So, coach, now that we got a little bit of background on you, um, oh, and this is what I wanted to ask you. How was it living in Japan?
It was cool. Like I was young, you know what I'm saying? Like now looking back, like that's the crazy part about it too. Most of my friends, the people that I met over there, they're still friends with me to this day. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
so dope.
It's like that little small camaraderie that you build with somebody with like a group of people that y'all are the
Right.
only ones that experience that time. So now we be like we got like a Facebook group, you know what I'm saying? They talk about doing stuff every year. So it's cool like to know them from like 20 something years ago, you know what I'm saying? Like to know those people from that long ago. And it's like a good size amount of people too. So
That's what's
but it was
up.
it was it was cool. It was an experience. It was because we lived on base, but it was just so different. But the crazy
Mm-hmm.
thing about it is when I was there, I wanted to get back here.
Right.
And now that I'm here, I want to get back there. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, it was
But
nice.
I think you living in so many different places, it causes you to become eclectic and be able to connect with so many different people.
Right.
Because if you would have just been in Georgia your whole life, it might have stifled you in a
Might have.
way. You understand what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, but
So,
with all the New Yorkers and stuff moving here, who knows?
yo, everybody pack your bags. We going to invade Georgia. Coach Anthony is going to be packing his bags and leaving, but New York City's going to come invade Georgia.
No, please don't. Por favor.
My friend, he actually he taught English in Shanghai for
Mm,
like 4 to 6 years. No,
mhm,
maybe I'm ODing with the 6. It was like 4 years. And he was showing me like pictures of the nightlife, and it was so beautiful in Shanghai. It reminded me of like Vegas or Times Square. It was just
mm.
so beautiful over there. He's like, you gotta come visit. I'm like, 18 hours on the flight or more. I'm like, yikes.
Yeah, it ain't that dope. I remember when they were, because this happened when they were just building LAX, and it was like still under construction. Like that's how long ago it's been. And that flight, I had never flew that long before in my life, and I was like, sheesh. We wake up, you go to you woke flying, you go to sleep flying, and you wake up again flying.
That's a lot. You're gonna need to give me first class, my own little bunk thing. I need my own bathroom in there, my own like I don't know.
I
That's
believe it. You can do it.
that's
I
a lot.
believe it. You could definitely do it.
For sure. All right, coach. So tell me, how did you get into coaching? How did
Well,
that all come about?
it came about like my wife and I, we had been married for a little bit, and
Shout out
like
to coach's wife too. Sorry to cut you off. It's Coach Lulu, right?
yeah, Coachy Lulu. Shout out to my beautiful
Coachy
wife, Coachy
Lulu.
Lulu.
We're gonna get into the stuff that y'all do together on Clubhouse and the Relationship and Chill podcast. We definitely gonna put some spotlight on your beautiful wife. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So you and
Yeah,
your wife.
so yeah, my wife and I like she and I'll go more into that as if you whenever you ask, but she moved here and we were just enjoying being married, you know what I'm saying? Like we
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed our relationship. We were just being ourselves, having fun, and just doing what we do, like what we normally do every single day. And everywhere we go, people will like, I don't know, it's just like a weird thing. Like they would be like, that's so nice and whatnot. And a couple of my friends kind of were going through some issues in their marriage. And I was just giving them insights to you know how we do it, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to because when you only pretty much know what you do,
Right.
but you don't know how different, especially when you get like really into them talking about this situation, then you're like, dang, I didn't expect that, or I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
you're so involved in, especially like relationship coaching, because you're so involved in your relationship.
Yep.
So that's pretty much like it. Like friends were, I was giving friends and people advice on like how to look for somebody, like what you should look for, being, like how to communicate,
Right.
in relationships and communicate prior to relationships in order to make sure that the relationship you're about to get in is the right one for you.
Right.
But then too, it was like understanding yourself, understanding how you operate, because we all know we got like a window of time where we're like really involved or invested in something like working out. Like I'm about to go work out every day. But
Mm-hmm.
then like a month later, it's like, what workout?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like even when you're getting to know someone at first, it's like we build up all of this thing, and then when we kind of either realize it's not what we were looking for, or it's not panning out, or you know what I'm saying, like we just kind of find something else
Yeah.
that distracts us, then we kind of slowly move away. And so
Right.
those were the things that really like I started paying attention to when it comes to like not only like my relationship, because it made me understand my relationship a little bit more, but it also helped me understand other people's relationship. So the more I started doing that, that's when we decided to start coaching together
That's
in the
awesome.
podcast.
Did you find out, like, so your wife had the same sort of talent as you did with being able to kind of like coach people through their issues and help them? Because that's a talent.
Mhm.
Most of the time you call your friends and you call people and they give you the wrong advice, or they tell you to do something toxic, or they champion behind you. Yeah, girl, he's wrong, you're right. But like, to be able to, do what you guys are doing takes some sort of, anointing, in my opinion, from God. That's definitely you doing God's work with that.
Mm.
Because not everybody is able to do that.
I think like everything is a skill that you learn. The more you do, you kind of have to learn,
Hmm.
because it's like people come to you with different things. So it's like
Right.
I didn't start off. I never thought I was gonna be a relationship coach, like, or a
Yeah.
dating coach. Like that was never like my life's mission. But it just happened because it's like because we really enjoy our marriage. Like I really
Right.
enjoy my wife, because it's like
Yep.
it's hard to get to where we are. It's hard to get a good marriage. Like I ain't gonna lie, it's hard to get a good marriage.
Yeah.
But without a mentor, like without if I didn't have a mentor, I wouldn't have known like how to look at this, like how to look at marriage, especially from a man's perspective. Like
Right.
I would have known the beauty of marriage had I not had a mentor who had a beautiful marriage.
And who was your mentor?
Well, he passed away last year. But he's my it's amazing how life works. He's my stepdad's cousin.
Oh, okay. Rest in peace to him.
Yeah, rest in
Uh,
peace to him, man. That's my guy. I cry. I still be crying about that. It's something about that. But yeah, I mean, meeting him really changed my life, because I never saw a man love a woman and have success in life. And I
right.
think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of men have is like you have to love one or the other, and it's usually like the stuff outside of the internal you. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's the stuff you're more motivated and moved to do over the course of your life, as opposed to like it's good to have those moments where you like really interested in somebody, or you really love somebody, but it's
Right.
like I got to get back to this though. Like I love you, but I got to get back to this. And he showed me how to balance that as a man, and that's a skill to learn. So like
Absolutely.
ex- so experiencing that and observing that was something that really helped me kind of interact with the men um a lot, because with coaching most of the times it's the woman that wants to help, like
Right.
that wants to help the relationship get better. But it's like once this is the funny part, Ange, this is the funny part. So they'll come to my wife and I, and they'll be like, hey, my husband, he don't open up to me. He don't talk to me. He don't
Mm-hmm.
share. He don't love me. He don't be all up on me like I want him to, and et cetera, et cetera. And so when we kind of go through our checks and balances, it's like he wants to talk, but you ain't letting him.
Mm.
And that's the thing. It's like, cause like with like the first 20 minutes of our sessions, it's like the guy is talking. We can't get him to be quiet.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's not that complex, but it
Right.
is from a person who doesn't understand how it works. So, for instance, like we had one couple that came, and the wife was like, "He don't let me into who he is as a person. Everybody else know more about him than I." This is what she was saying. And
Mm-hmm.
so, as we were talking to
I can
him,
relate to that.
see, so, but the thing is, like, as we got into the conversation, I realized what it was. She was asking the right questions, but she wasn't allowing him to give his answer without the pressure, either the pressure or the leading on of the answer that she wanted.
Got it.
So it was a
I
lot of
see.
information. Yeah, so she was blinded to a lot of stuff that we just said, "Hey, can you just please? We got you. I promise you, you good."
Wow.
And but and here's the part though, Ange. The more he talked, the more frustrated she got. Like, this is what typically happens when we do our sessions, is like the more the man talks, the more the woman wants to talk, either to defend her position or either to just kind of like lead the conversation in a way to where it looks and packaged a certain way.
I see.
But this is the part, and we have to like let everybody know this, like, this the relationship you in.
Right.
This ain't like the relationship you want to be in. We can get there, but that ain't the relationship you are. Because if you were there,
Right.
then clearly we wouldn't be having this conversation. But this right here, this conversation, these conversations where he's actually talking and you're kind of like learning and seeing a different perspective, that's the real relationship. And
Yeah.
that's why it's so hard to get him to move, because you don't know how to move him. And it's really with the questions and allowing him to develop his voice within the relationship so you can actually hear what he has to
Right.
say.
Right. I think it's more in terms of the woman having to take herself and her needs out of it for a second, put it on the table, and just be a blank canvas of allowing him to speak and her to kind of hear what he's saying. Because I think sometimes people talk to be heard, but
Mhm.
they're not really, when the other person is talking, it's yeah, but you do this to me. But like they don't want to hear exactly with a clean mind what
Mhm.
he's saying. So it's more so you guys are like, okay, we're gonna get to you, we got you,
Right.
but hear what he's saying. And then yeah, so I think that's definitely a big difference between men and women in relationships, because the women will be like, oh, he's so closed off, he doesn't want to talk, he wants to like brush stuff under the rug, but in reality it could just be that the man doesn't have a voice.
That's
But
90% of the time he hasn't developed, especially like, and I have to use this example, Ange, with him. I'll be like, don't emotionally bully the relationship.
right.
Yeah, because that
Yeah.
happened. That's mainly what it is like, yeah, except for when he gets angry. Like when he gets frustrated and angry, that's when it's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like she's more receptive to most. I ain't gonna say all, because it's not like that. It's usually women are the more dominant communicators in relationships, and so and mainly in the emotional space of the relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But just generally, because men are like women. This is the thing, and this is like gonna be sound crazy, but men are like women when it comes to emotions, like women are when it comes to sex, to the sexual aspect,
I
right?
see. Hmm.
Yeah. So it's like you have to like work within the confines and
Yes.
warm us up to be able
Yeah.
to get us the best out of us. If
I
you just
see.
want to jump right in and just want to talk about everything, it's like a man just coming in and just jumping right on top of you. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
It's
Yeah,
like
I
that.
see. I love that analogy. You heard that, ladies? If you want to get your man to talk, don't go right in. It's equivalent to a man just jumping your bones. You got to ease into it.
Right. We
And the
call
way
it
it,
emotional foreplay.
yes, emotional foreplay. Listen, y'all better get y'all pen and papers. And we're going to go into the services that you provide too, because y'all need to tap in with Coach R. Anthony for y'all one-on-one. Do you do one-on-ones?
Yeah, we do one-on-ones.
Okay, so y'all like a duo? So I know y'all do you and your lovely wife do relationship coaching, but do you guys do individual coaching? Like if a girl wanted to have like an individual with her or a guy wanted to have an individual with you, do you separate?
Yeah, but we've never had to though. That's the crazy part of it. Like usually it's like we be like, okay, we just gonna do one, but they like, I want both of y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I want both sides of the coin. So,
absolutely.
but we do provide that though.
Absolutely. So what were we just saying that I just interrupted? You were saying, oh, the emotional
Emotional.
foreplay. Yeah, the same way a guy could talk themselves out of having sex with you ladies, you guys could talk yourselves out of the man opening up. So don't
Exactly.
just go in. I love that. I love that analogy. Um, wow, that's super dope. Um, I have to, you know what? The wheels are turning in my head. I feel like next time I have to have you and your wife on together. Or I just started this new series called Ladies VIP, a new series. It's Angie's World podcast, but it's like a series within it. It's called the Ladies VIP, and I think it would be super dope if your wife does podcast to have her on because you guys should meet his wife too. She's super dope. Um, so going into all right, so you do the coaching and let me see. Tell me a little bit about the Relationships and Chill podcast. I see that you have your hat on that says Relationships and Chill. Tell us a little bit how that came to fruition.
Um, it just came from Coach Christina Lynn. Like we would always be on the phone, just kicking it, talking about life, talking about all kinds of stuff. And we would, get together and talk. And the way we would talk is just like we like brother and sister, you know what I'm
I
saying?
shout out
And
to Coach Christina. I love
shout
her
out to
so
Coach
much.
Christina Lynn. Yeah, and so we would just be talking, and so I was like, I want to do a podcast because I had my first podcast like back in the day, like 2012. And then I was like, I want to do another one, so that's when we decided to do the Relationships and Chill podcast.
And
My
this is
wife,
you and Coach Christina?
yeah, Coach Christina Lynn's on it. My wife is on it. And Candace, shout out to Candace as well. But yeah, like at different times, we may just be me and Coach Christina Lynn, or me and Candace, or me and what I'm saying, like me and my wife, or just me. But yeah, that's the Relationships and Chill podcast.
Y'all make sure y'all check out Relationships and Chill podcast for the people that's kind of like want to know like some of the things that y'all cover on there. What kind of subjects do you guys cover
Oh man.
besides relationships? Like certain episodes that might stick out to you.
Like I mean, like mainly like relationship stuff. I mean, it's usually just relationship related. Like I have a series on there about the fulfilled marriage, where I just give the blueprint on how to create the kind of marriage that is sufficient for both. Like it works for both. Online dating, we've done stuff about that. We've done stuff about long distance relationships. I
I
did
love that.
I did an episode with my dad, and just like my biological father, I did an episode with him, kind of merging things together, you know what I'm saying? Because we have an excellent relationship now, but it
I
wasn't
love
always
that.
like that, you know what I'm saying? And he really opened himself up, because he's not the type, you know what I'm saying, to do that kind of thing. So he really opened up, and just shed light on his life. So it was great. It was a great experience. So we do like stuff like that.
That's awesome. And you mentioned before how, you probably wouldn't be where you are today as far as knowing, how to navigate your marriage unless, you had a mentor that you saw a successful marriage.
Mhm.
Do you ever feel the pressure that because I really do think it's important that men particularly see other men like you, which is why I wanted you on my podcast, because this is a man who I feel like other men could look up to, and see how you navigate your relationship and how you problem solve and all the work that you pour into other people. And you're
Mhm.
such like a good role model just by living your life. It's not like you're even trying. This is just, you were able to see something successful. You chased that because that's what attracted you to your mentor and the way his relationship was. And you wanted that. So you're
Mhm.
living out that and you're helping other people along the way have great relationships like you do. And I'm sure it's not perfect. It takes a lot of work. Do you ever feel pressure like that you and your wife have to be like the perfect couple because so many eyes are on you or so many people are looking to you for, I guess, like guidance or like as a role model?
Nah, I mean, but like I could go a lot deeper into that. I think like my marriage with my wife is perfect for me and the kind of marriage that I want. And we always say like if you look at your hand, right? If you just was to look at your hand right now, and your hand is different from everybody on this planet's hand. Like
Hmm.
ain't nobody got the scars you got, nobody got the fingerprint, and it's unique to you, right? And so relationships are just like that. Like they're unique to you. Like my hands are perfect for me because I mean they're my hands, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when you think about it from that perspective, there is no pressure because it's going to grow and morph with me and my wife. We are the
Right.
only people in it. Like the only thing we do to other people, like with other people, is help them find their own unique DNA within the relationship that they're building. Because a lot of times we want to build these cookie cutter, you know what I'm saying, it has to be fit into this mold. But it's like, again, like what I was saying earlier, if you don't allow both parties to fully express and be themselves, you ain't got no relationship. All you got is what you think versus what the other person thinks, or what you do versus
Hello.
the person. And that's separation, right?
Wake it up.
Which is why about 47 to 50% of relationship or marriages fail, but shoot, relationships fail at an even higher rate. And the ones that do remain together, they're not really satisfied with one another. They just together. You know what I'm saying? I never wanted a relationship like that. I wanted a relationship with somebody I can be my most authentic, truest self with. If I can't be that, then ain't no. I'm you not getting no relationship with me. Even if we're
Right.
in a relationship, the relationship isn't being built the way it's supposed to make us both want to be motivated to do the things that are required to keep it going. So there ain't no pressure when you understand that because it's like
Right.
the things that we have to do are mainly for us. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If we don't do them, we the first ones to fail, and we ain't trying to fail at our marriage. So
Right.
so at the end of the day, it's like it's easy at this point once you understand those like very basic things. It's like find you somebody who you can be yourself with, but you ain't gonna find them until you decide that you're gonna look for that.
Mm.
You're not gonna find nobody until you make that conscious decision that I I'm not gonna get with nobody at all if I can't be my most 1000% genuine self. I can say what I want to do, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Say what's on my mind, whatever, whatever. If you don't look for that, then you ain't gonna find it.
Do you guys have kids yet? You and your wife?
Nah, no kids yet.
Okay. Do you guys plan on it?
Yeah, this year I think we gonna plan on it this year. That's why I was saying like it's tough because it's like bringing another individual into this which is built for it, it's built to bring it's built to bring and support other children into
Right.
um but we've been enjoying this time. Like it's just been my wife and I
And
and
there's
our
nothing wrong with that.
oh no, ain't absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. And if you guys decided to enjoy your time with each other for the rest of your life and not have any kids, there's nothing wrong with that either. I just was wondering because I think it would be dope. You guys do like a family YouTube channel, you guys could do like parent counseling, parent and relationship coaching. There's so many ways to brand once
There's
you
so
have a
many
kid
avenues,
too.
right? I mean, there's no pressure. Like I
Right.
don't know. Like yeah, eventually,
I mean,
eventually.
listen, no pressure at all. I was just being nosy. I was wondering. But coach, you know what? I don't want to just box you in to being a person that just pours into people about relationships. Like I said, you do a lot for men as well. I want to talk about some of the things that you do on Clubhouse. Oh, but before we get into that, this is what I wanted to ask you before I forget. How did you get into mentoring Coach Christina?
That's what I'm saying. Like it was just through conversations, like the stuff we would be talking about, kind of like I'm just sharing now.
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff she was like, I'm calling you my mentor.
I love her. Thank you so much for introducing her to all of us at the Real Relationship Talk. I have learned so much this last year and some change with you. And then, when you brought Coach Christina into the equation, she has been like such a big blessing over there in that clubhouse. And she's poured into so many people. And you guys both do so much work. You guys are changing lives all across the world. And it's such a blessing to have y'all. Definitely. So thank you for introducing us to her.
Hey, thank you. I mean, yeah, she's dope. Yeah, she's I told her, she was like, "Nah, I don't want to get on there," or she was just kind of like, eh. But I was like, "No, you need to get on here because this will be your spot." And so
Hmm.
yeah, so it has like I've been calling her Oprah of Clubhouse. So,
She
or
is.
was on there, but the other Oprah of Clubhouse.
You said Oprah's on Clubhouse?
Yeah, she on Clubhouse. She did a room like a month ago, or
Oh
was in a room.
yeah. I feel like I follow Oprah. I feel like I did see a room that Oprah did. I need to tap back in. I'm on a social media cleanse right now, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, so Coach R. Anthony and his lovely wife, they're on Clubhouse, right? I want to talk about some of the rooms that you're an admin in, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this is why I think it's so important because there are so many men that kind of like isolate themselves or they don't open up in relationships or they feel like it's not therapy, self-healing, self-care is for women. It's not for men. Men feel like they don't have a safe place to go. And you do a lot of work on Clubhouse to provide, a support system for men. So that's why, I think it's super, super dope that other men look at somebody like you. You do the husband's roundtable. That's one of the clubhouses that you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell
Mm-hmm.
us a little bit about the husband's roundtable, like the topics there, and if people decide to tap in with your clubhouse, the husband's roundtable, like what do you guys talk about? Obviously, like what men go through as husbands, but what kind of like stuff can they expect to if they go in there?
With the husbands roundtable, it's mainly just husbands that just have an outlet,
Right.
um, to be able to just talk about our week and just stuff, just connect. It's a club, you know what I'm saying? It's just like
I love that.
a round table that we just go in and talk about certain things. We answer questions. We talk about marriage from our perspective. You got guys from all walks of life. You got Christians, Muslims. You got atheists. You got everybody that comes in there that feels I don't want to say the pressure, but that have the husband title that just don't have an outlet just as for a man. So but that's one that we do. Also I want to shout out Chef because he does a great job. Christopher, he does a great job with the Brothers Protection Circle, and that's a
I think I wrote
really
that down here. Yep,
yeah,
the
yeah.
husband. Yeah, brother. I put after the husband's roundtable, the brothers protection circle. Tell me a little bit about that too.
Yeah. That's my man Chef Hampton, or Christopher. It's weird calling him Chris Hampton. And he does he does the Brothers Protection Circle, and he does Black Man, How Was Your Week? On Sunday. So that's another great resource for men to be able to tap into and just hear other brothers, because I learned this earlier on with Clubhouse. Is like is really about seeing other men do it,
Yeah.
and the more you see it, the more comfortable you become with it. But so like we're so accustomed to not seeing it, so it's
Yep.
like we just just do what but that's why having mentors, having, because it's so much healthier to be able to express. I think one of the saddest things and one of the worst things when it comes to men, and why we either you know suffer with a lot of depression or die younger earlier, is because we don't have an emotional vent. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We don't have the outlet. So I
Yep.
think a lot of it, and we've been conditioned that way for the longest, like either social conditioning or we've conditioned ourselves to just suppress. But when you do that, it really limits your ability to see what you're connecting to. And so that,
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's a big deal, because we connect to things that either are beneficial to us or detrimental to us.
Right.
And if you're not seeing yourself and why you're drawn to certain things, then
Hello.
it'll be to your detriment. Um, and that's why it ain't no pressure for us, because at this point we've already established like a good, it ain't no pressure for my wife and I, because we've already established like the main most important things to us in life is living.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And living in abundance, in terms of like being abundantly who we are as just people. And
Yeah.
so And so it's tough to do that when you've been conditioned to suppress, because you can't connect with somebody who naturally matches that. You know what I'm saying? And then that's when the harmony and the blending comes, because it's like we're meeting each other. It's like when you first have a great conversation with somebody you just met, you're like, dang.
Right. I feel like I know them forever.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, because you were able and free in that moment, then the connection happened. It's only later on, when the perception of the relationship goes further, we like, okay, we're moving into this stage, so now I need to reconfigure myself into being this way. And that's what a lot of times causes us to fit into the box of suppression, or suppressing
Right.
something a certain way, because we don't want to say the wrong thing, we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, we don't want, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? We don't want to fail, we don't want to mess up, we don't want to make a bad impression. It's like, if you just get to the point to where it don't really even matter, because I ain't gonna be, last thing I'm gonna do is be miserable in a relationship.
Right. Exactly.
That's the last thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I feel, I always wondered, because I have a lot of guy friends, right? And it seems as though, like, one of my best friends, he's a guy, right? It seems like he can open up so much to me, but
Mhm.
in his relationship, he's like a different person. Why do you think men are like that? They can open up with their friends or their homegirl, but when it comes to their relationships, they're kind of closed in, or they're a different person within their relationships. They could be like the best friend in the world, but a piece of crap boyfriend. Or even women too. They could be like a great friend, but in their relationships, they have so many issues. So that's why I
Right.
think it's important, Coach, when you said people need to know themselves. Get to know yourself and your issues and work on yourself. But go ahead, I'll let you answer that.
That's the thing though. Like will always attract like, and or like will always keep like. At the end of
Right.
the day, is it gonna either keep it or is it gonna attract it? And so for a lot of people, it's like that. Like, I don't think it's just a man thing. I've met plenty of wives and single women who don't share their most innermost stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
it goes on both hands, because it's like some women will open up to us more than they will open up to their spouse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's part of it. But I think the to answer that question, I think a lot of it has to do with the perception. Like, because the perception that a person would get from you, who's more of a neutral party, from the person that they have feelings for, because
Right.
them feelings are something different. Because like, this is the crazy part, because I've seen a lot of people who tried to make it work because they're friends and they were opening up to each other in the friendship space.
Right.
They tried to merge it into the relationship, and it ends up being the exact same way. You know what I'm saying? Because
Wow.
it has everything to do with the perception of, well, I'm in love. So when you're in love or these feelings are triggered, these are the things that come with it. And a lot of that
Mm.
in our childhood, like, because we have like, when you're younger, you have a lot of mixed emotions, right? Like, you can love but still be mad at your parents. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You can be frustrated, but still your mom can love you, but still yell at you and whoop you and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, I can love you, but that don't mean I have to be all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
this, whatever. Especially once a person got you. So that's a whole nother thing.
Right.
But but it's a lot of layers to it at the end of the day. But I think the perception of when we feel these emotions, it triggers a lot of times it triggers the feeling of needing to protect ourselves to a certain degree as well.
Yes. I agree. I so agree. Yep. That is so
But
true.
that's the thing, like, we always say that vulnerability is the only way, the truth is the only way a relationship really can grow. It can't grow no other way. It starts off with
I'm going to clip that. Hello.
the motivation, just like the gym do. It starts off with motivation, but you got to love getting in shape. You got to love that, you know what I'm saying? You got to love that thing that you're trying to obtain. And then when you get it, that's when you have to just keep it going. And that's where kind of like my wife and I are. But I said all that to say, like, so many times we go into relationships with these narratives and these false ideas, only for us to burn out, and then to do the things that are required, which is just be honest with yourself and be honest with the person you with, so that way the love has the opportunity to grow past the fears. because that's all it is that we're fighting against, is the fear of being seen or perceived a certain way, when in reality we want to be shown, we want to look a certain kind of way, we want to feel a certain kind of way. But it's tough to do when those feelings have been mumbled with all kinds of like rules and regulations.
Yes.
The only rule is the truth. That's the only rule to love, is the truth.
I want to clap so bad, but I don't want to mess up the audio. I'm going to clip that whole little segment, and because Coach is really dropping jewels. Listen, men, I know the ladies are going to tap in with you and your wife, but men, I don't care if you have to get a burner account on Clubhouse because y'all think y'all too cool to go in Clubhouse and be in, men's meetings or listen to. Everybody got to follow Coach R. Anthony. His information is at the bottom. Once you go in there, he'll have links to his Clubhouse. Could they message you for like I guess if they want like a one-on-one or a session with you and your wife, they'll be able to tap in with you from there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go on Instagram. I'm also going to put all his stuff in the description. I really seriously urge you guys to connect and listen to the groups that he has on Clubhouse as men. And if y'all are too cool, make a burner and go in there. But y'all need to go do that. Tap in with Coach R. Anthony and what he got going on. And then also you and your wife do a I keep looking over because I have my notes right here. I see that you and your wife, I've been in a couple of you guys' rooms that you do as well. So you guys have what's the name of y'all club that you guys do? You and your wife?
Date Like a Wife. We got Marriage Mastery Secrets. We got a few clubs, but
yes, they have. Yeah, I feel like I wrote that down, but I don't understand why it's not here.
We have Date Like a Husband. We like
Date Like a Husband. I feel like I wrote that down. Husbands Roundtable, Brothers Protection Circle. I meant to write it down, but you know what I did? I went down in a rabbit hole because I don't want to keep you here all night, but I'm just going to touch on some of the topics that you guys speak about in some of the groups that you guys have that stuck out to me. The first one is why men isolate in marriage. If you could give like a short answer, what would you say is the reason?
I mean, that was such a great conversation we had on the Husbands Roundtable.
And the replay is available, y'all, so you could go in there and listen to it.
I think some of the main reasons why is because of pressure to and the way we want to measure up, not only just for our wives, but just the idea that we have of ourselves. Like a lot of times, sometimes, and this is where a lot of women kind of miss the expression, right? Because even though men isolate, it doesn't mean that men don't want a woman around. It just means, and it doesn't mean that he doesn't care. It just means like sometimes just the refreshing of what it means to be him. And that's tough to do because normally, and this is the crazy part, because normally, well, I ain't gonna say normally, but in a lot of cases, a lot of men find their identity from the chase and the pursuit of a woman. So it's easy to get distracted and not have to face those things because it's always a new thing that you got to give attention to. You know what I'm saying? You're interested in. So, but when you have the person that you're with, like, where do you find identity in?
Yeah.
And that's where for a lot of guys, it's like, I got a good job, I got a business, I got like stuff, or I need to get this together and whatever, but I don't have no more distractions, like that kind of stuff. Like it's just me and her, or me, her, and like my family. This is it.
Wow.
And so for a lot of guys, it's like coming to grips with that and finding something that brings that level of fulfillment, which is what we kind of talked about in that room. Is like you find things to subsidize the urge. So it's like like for like I'm gonna use a vampire example. You know how like when vampires, like they see the heart beating and they like what I'm saying? Like, man, I wish I could just go back out there. But then it's like, I'm just gonna settle for a deer. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like so it's like you're adapting to like this new lifestyle that's chase free, or what I'm saying, new woman free. So it's like that's part of it. That's part of the isolation thing. And the other part is just just measuring up to the idea that you have when you started out this journey of being a husband. And sometimes we haven't really defined what it means to be us at this phase of our lives. And the other part is like mortality. You know what I'm saying? You seeing friends die, you seeing family members die, you seeing all of this stuff happening, and you're like, dang, I'm getting older. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm experiencing things that I didn't think I was gonna experience. I'm not that cool young dude anymore. I'm like,
Right.
I have a responsibility, I have a family, I have this,
Right.
that, and third. And a lot of guys just like forget that. I'm just gonna leave and just start me a whole new life in Nebraska and leave my wife
Yes.
and kids in South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Like some dudes
Yeah.
that pressure. So
That happens a lot. And you know
yeah.
what? To go back to that real quick, I feel like also society, and that might be a different rabbit hole. But I also feel like society, like when you were talking a little bit about, after the chase is over
Hmm.
and the man that sees like the vampire, the heartbeat, but you're settling for this, but you have the urges to go back out there.
Right.
It kind of reminded me of monogamy in men, right? So when men are younger, in my experience, I've always seen men be glorified as a player. Like
Hmm.
ever since you guys are younger, it's how many girls can you get? Or
Hmm.
being a player is like glorified. You're cool. You're put on a pedestal. But ever since us as women were born as little girls, having a marriage and a baby and everything has been glorified for us. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like been brainwashed into us. Like my little cousin is like 7, 8 years old, and she, all of us, like even me, my little cousins, every little girl that I've seen born, you have your baby doll, you have your Barbie dream house, you have your carriage,
Hmm.
you're conditioned to be like a mom, a wife, and have your babies, and then men are conditioned to have multiple women. Do you think
Right.
society plays a part in that as well? Of a man's urge to feel like this is it, like this is what I have, like, and kind of start new families, or might want to go back out there because they feel like maybe this is being monogamous or having a family is probably not what's meant for men to do, or they're meant to not be monogamous. Like, do you kind of? I know I'm asking like 5 questions in one.
I think it's a combination of different things. You know what I mean? Like, I think it depends on who they look up to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause, and it might be a combination of it, cause like it's like you may have a collection of favorite whatever rapper or whatever, right? Singer or whatever it is. But if you like them, so for instance, if you grew up, if you like whatever rapper or whatever R&B, and so you watch their videos or you watch their whatever, and what do you see?
Right.
I'm
Multiple
saying that
women, cars,
you see a lot of women,
twerking,
working, all that kind of stuff. So it's like that's the lifestyle. Like
the
that's what's
imagery.
right. That imagery, I think that's stronger than social pressures because there's a lot of social. There's the sports social pressure. So like if you're in sports, it's like there's that part. It's like if you really good at sports, girls are gonna like you. It's not
Oh,
like
absolutely.
you know what I'm saying. It's not. And if you're talented at something, they're gonna like you. I mean, it's just like I think it's that, but I also think that I don't know. It's like that social part but it's also like I don't know. It's like
A
how can
combination
yeah, it's a combination of different
of the
factors.
media. Yeah.
Media, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, media is definitely plays a part in it. And then you got your peers, you
Yep.
got your friends who are like, like, dang, she like you, she interested, and then her, so you got that kind of thing. So it's like
Yeah.
there's so many layers to it, especially when you're young. And that's why, like, when you're older, you're able to see the trick. You're able to see that it's all
Yes. Smoke and
it's all a
mirrors.
facade. Yeah, exactly. It's like even for women, it's a facade. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
on both parts, because it's like, how are you going to prepare? How are you going to teach? Or not even prepare or teach, but it's like, how are you going to push the idea of being a mom and playing house to a, what I'm saying, 4, 5, 6 year old?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you, like that's crazy when you think about it. Like the idea, like I know for me, that's one of the things I'm not going to do is just like put dolls and stuff because it's like you're already programming them to want to take care of something.
That's so true. And I think like as little girls, we do have this nurturing thing in us. Like I'm not going to lie, like I loved my Barbies, I loved my dolls, I loved playing in makeup since I was a kid, but
Mhm.
as I got older, my goal wasn't to be a mom or a wife. I would look at Oprah and I wanted to be like that. I
Mm.
wanted to be a career woman. Oprah, I don't even know if she ever got married. I know she never had any kids.
It was Stedman.
Yeah, she been with Stedman. So I
Mhm.
do like the fact of having like a
Somebody.
companion,
Uh,
right? A companion to travel the world with and enjoy your life with. But I kind of like her lifestyle and what she has going on for herself.
mhm.
And it's different from what they program every little girl to want. Like and that's why I don't think that you said this earlier in the interview. You said every relationship is different and you
Mhm.
have to go by what it is that you want in your life.
Right.
So like, the dolls, yeah, society pushes that on the little girls, but there's more to us than just, being a mom and a wife or taking care of something. And there's more to men than like looking up at Hugh Hefner and his Playboy bunnies and the rap videos and all this other stuff. You kind of
Right.
have to
Exactly.
make that conscious decision to know what you want in life and realize that a lot of that stuff is smoke and mirrors, and pay attention to who you look up to, what you listen to, and the type of people that you follow. That's why I think it's like so important again to have men like you on this podcast so other men can see.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't have been able to see it if I didn't have my mentor. Like if I didn't have my
yes,
mentor,
right,
you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been able to see. Wouldn't have been able to see it as clear as I was because loving someone specifically is it's a it's I would say a reward. Like not even like it's a special thing to find
yes,
somebody who you can build a life with. Like
that's
it's
so
not
true.
easy to do. And the timing is the timing and all that kind of stuff has a lot to do with it. But I said all that to say, like, I think like most things in life, it's usually given to us through access, meaning that somebody has to show you, just like somebody showed us how to walk,
Right.
somebody showed us how to talk, or a combination of people showed us how to do the things that we're doing easily right now. Right. So I think the best things in life require access to. Like somebody has to put you on.
Yep. You
Somebody
have to
has
see
to,
it.
yeah, you have to see it, but not only see it, but you have to be given insight into how to maintain it and how to get it, like the inner workings of it. If I would have never saw the inner workings of a relationship, it'd just be like, okay, my 6 month time is up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And it's time to move on to get that new thrill. But it's like
absolutely.
you have to learn how to like why that happens because you're constantly finding yourself stopping and starting something and you'll never actually build a relationship that means something over time. So for me, once I understood that as a man, that's the trick. Like that's the trick that most men are fooled by is that a new woman means I'll say it like this. This is the best way I thought about it before. And I came most men learn their best lessons and most about themselves from the pursuit of different women. So if you take that out, you like most of who he is, the identity and what he's learned has to be removed.
Mm,
So it's tough for, and I feel for women from that perspective because
right,
it's like you're very limited depending on his experiences and how he perceives this process of getting a woman.
right.
So it's tough, but that's the part that I had to come to grips with on my own. What would it take for me as a man to say, you know what, this is the one I'm gonna be with for the rest of my life? Like, what did that look like? I had to answer that question first. She couldn't answer that question for me.
Wow. And what made you know? How did you know?
Well, having my mentor, seeing him, with his wife, that was part of it. But I had to determine for me, for myself, like, okay, there's a reason why all these women are open to me. I mean, like, I'm doing something right. You know what I'm saying? But what am I gaining from all of this? Like, other than
Right,
sex, like, other than the ability to have sex, because once that's over, I know me, I'm out. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Mentally, whatever. So I got to the point, I was like, what is it going to take to get me? Like,
Yeah,
what does it take to get me as a man? Because that's something we're never taught to think about.
right.
Like, Like, what does it take to get a man? You know what I'm saying? Like, most women's like, it don't, like, if I was to ask you, what does it take to get a man?
Good Lord.
I mean, just like, it's not like, what do you have to do? It's like, it's not really, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta, I'm talking about the initial thing and then all that kind of stuff, right?
Right.
So I had to determine what that was for me. I had to say, like, hey,
Yeah.
like, I'm giving myself away for pennies on a dollar, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, I was thinking payments in the form of vagina and you know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Right.
But, so I was like, dang, like that's a horrible way to live life.
Right.
Like for the rest of my life, I want to be able to say that that was what my life was about. And I was like, no,
Right.
let me figure out what is it gonna take to like keep me with a woman. And I had to determine like, okay, it's gonna take me being able to express myself in the fullest capacity, whatever
Mm-hmm.
that may be at the moment. That was like the first thing. And then when I started leading with that, the game changed, Angie. They was like, oh no, this is way too much for me. This is too much firepower. I'm into a dude just sitting there, you know what I'm saying?
In hopes that something will happen.
Right. I came guns blazing. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Who are you? Let's talk. Let's get to know each other. I ain't taking like we ain't going out on like no like dinner nighttime dates. I want to get to know you. I want us to
Right.
sit down and have a conversation. Because if I'm looking for forever, forever ain't gonna be in no at no you know what I'm saying, like ain't no at no restaurant.
Right. Right. That's so true. And you gotta make that decision of you wanting more in life. Cause some men are just content with like, yo, as long as I got money, I don't care if I'm 70, I'm gonna be able to get girls. Like men look at it like as long as I got some men, I'm not saying this is everybody, but as women age, they feel as though, their value, the younger girls have like the value over them. They feel like they use their, once they lose maybe their youth or their looks, the dating pool becomes smaller. A man could be old and wrinkled and 80 years old. As long as he could keep a job, like as long as he's successful business wise to have money in his pocket, he's always going to have women around him. But what kind of lifestyle is that to be single at 60 and 70, money in your pocket because you're chasing money your whole life and you're chasing women? So yeah, you have the sex, you have the money, but what, you don't have anything else. You don't have, a person who, you don't have like a family unit, like a partner to navigate life with, and someone who really loves you. So
But
I
see,
feel like
I think when women take that approach, that's what makes men say, I don't want to hear all that. You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
they feel more justified in their approach because it's like you think I'm doing all this, and it's true, but it's like you reduced it down to just having women. But see,
yeah,
like for men, it's more complex than that. Like I said, like this is one thing I teach in my course, right? Is one thing I teach that probably changes the life for every woman, right? And that is men, if you can get into a man's meaning, you can get into like you got the man. Like when you learn how to like when if a woman knows how to associate what a man means, he gonna love her for life.
right.
Because it's like I was
You
having this
guys have layers. You guys have
yeah,
layers. It's
yeah,
not
exactly.
right.
Exactly. I was having a conversation with like a couple, right? I was coaching a couple, and I'll just be brief with this. Like he wanted his fiance to sit down with him and watch the Dallas Cowboys football games on Sundays, right? So, but there was a reason why. And she was just like, I'm not sitting, I don't like football. I don't want to
Hmm.
sit down and watch football. So every Sunday she would find something to do, whatever, like to avoid it. And it wasn't like it was until I was like, okay, tell me what that means for you. And these are the questions that a woman, if she's wise, will ask a man. What does this mean to you? Like, how did you first even start liking the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah.
So he goes on to tell the story about when he was younger and how he got in trouble and he was feeling some kind of way, and so he went and sat down and watched football, and it was the and he was like 5, 6, 7 years old, but it was the first time he actually it made him feel good, right? It made him feel good and it consoled him, and he was like into the game and all that kind of stuff.
Aw, love
So as
that.
time went on, that was what it was built off of. And
Right.
so what he was trying to do was connect with her in the
Right.
moment because it meant something to him to be able to sit down
Right.
on Sunday and watch the game. And
Right.
so
So
when she
that was
saw
more of bonding for them.
it was more bonding for him, but she was looking at it like, you just want me to sit down and
Watch.
watch sports with you.
Right.
Right. Watch this
Yeah.
game with you for no reason. It's like, no, this
Right.
is him asking you to come in and bond with him on something that
Right.
seems surface level, but
Right.
deeper. When you ask the right questions, you get the right meaning. And
That's
then
so true.
mm,
I can relate to that because I had this mentor in my life where ever since I was younger, probably I want to say like 8 or 9, I loved hip hop my whole life, right? 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, adults they were like, rap, we hate rap. It's never going to be around.
mhm,
It's never going to be around in 30 years, and they shitted on it, these rappers, and it was just the bottom of the barrel. There was no money in rap back then, so it was just like New York MCs in the subway with 40s and graffiti, and it was really gritty and stuff. And
mhm,
I had this mentor in my life, and he took the liberty to like listen to Biggie. This
mm,
was like an old, like older, like because I speak about this. I was raised in the system. I was raised in foster care, right? So I went to different foster homes and stuff, and he was one of my foster dads, and he was in the Coast Guard, and he was like real cool. And I'm sure he was just like this older white guy, or whatever, right? Could not probably care less about hip hop or rap, but listen to Big lyrics. I'm putting
mm,
the headphones on and making him listen to Biggie, make him listen to this. He couldn't care less, but he was bonding with me over that.
right.
Or he would be like, yo, you love makeup. Let's go to the base, because he was in the Coast Guard. I would go to the base, buy makeup. He didn't care about no 12-year-old girl listening to rap or buying makeup, but that's like a bonding thing. So I understand exactly what you're talking about. It's more than just watching the sports. It's, bonding over something that you might not necessarily find interest in, but it kind of, it's what the other person likes. And you,
Exactly. And it
right,
means something to you. So like, so a guy, you might introduce that to a guy and he'll think, I don't want to go with you shopping for no makeup. But you see
right.
the deeper meaning is like, that's how you
Absolutely.
connected with somebody, who cared, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how you
Absolutely.
bonded with them. So it's like, that's the meaning for men specifically, because I noticed for myself, this was the thing that let me know my wife was the right one. I knew she was the right one because she understood the things that meant something to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she didn't take it, and she didn't take it as me trying to control or dictate, but it meant something for me for her to listen to what I have to say.
Right. She cared about more than just the surface level. She cared about more than what you look like, how much money you made, what your job
Right.
was. It was the deeper surface. It was, I want to be a part of whatever you're into, how your mind works, what you are. Like I wanted to be part of what's in your heart. So yeah, I get it. You got to go deeper. And it's so much easier for people to just be surface level. But before we get into because I don't want to keep you here all night. You're a very, very busy man.
Hey,
But
I can do this all night.
okay, as long listen, we could keep going, but I like to respect people's time. Oh, we're only an hour in. Okay, so we got a little time. There was another topic that stood out to me. And especially, in a time now where we're dealing with, coming out of a 2-year pandemic, dealing with possibly what's going on with this war. Hopefully we don't go into, World War III, and there's a lot of like mental health issues going on with people. I saw that you guys did a room. Excuse me. How much does your mental health determine your wealth? I feel
Mm,
like your health, my grandparents used to say, or maybe that was, I don't know if you did that topic, but I saw that under your
under,
Clubhouse replays. Maybe you were in that
I
room.
think, yeah, I was in a room that talked about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, my grandparents used to say your health is your wealth, right? But I feel like, do you feel like mental health does tie into how much money someone makes or your wealth?
Um, yes and no. I think I think your mental health plays more of a part with just how you see the world. Because you got people that got money, but they just see the world all kinds of whatever.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's the determining factor per se. I think it does have something to do with the the peace that you have that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not that much of that cause of a concern. But I don't think it. I think mental health is its own thing because I think it affects every relationship
Right.
that you have. You know what I'm saying? Because you can be married and still suffer from mental health issues. You could be in a happy marriage.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And still suffer. So I think it's an isolated thing. I think there's so many layers to it, and it's relatively newer that we're using this term. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's relatively new, but I don't think it's necessarily tied to your wealth. I think it's tied to your relationship with the world and yourself. You know what I'm saying?
I
How you
agree.
view yourself and how you view things. I was asked this question from matter of fact from Chef's Room from the Brothers Protection Circle. Who is the most influential person to you and why?
I was going to ask you that. That was coming next.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm tuned in with you, Angie.
Yes, sir. That was coming next.
And I was asked that question this past Sunday, and the reason why I even brought that up is because the person that's been most influential to me has been the ideas I have about myself.
Mm,
Those are the things that determine like who I talk to on the phone, who I want to be around, what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the driving force for I'm pretty sure all of us.
right.
The good thing about having a mentor is they can at least get you outside of that.
Right.
But you are going to be the most influential person that
Yep.
you know to
Absolutely.
yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like we're always trying to get something. And that's why relationships are the most amazing thing because if they're done right, they allow you
Right.
to get out of that
Right.
self perception because literally ourselves are the ones that's driving the whole ship. But when you are in a relationship, you're considering somebody else
Yeah.
other than yourself. So it's
Yeah.
first that, and then my wife is next.
Right. Yeah. That's definitely true. That's so true. So you are your influence. You are your own competition, your own influence. You have the idea of what you want to be in your head and then you strive for that.
Everybody does.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And and also, like you said, it's good to have a mentor. And you mentioned something early in the interview about you wouldn't be where you are today if you didn't have your mentor to look at his relationship and how he navigated it. And I
Mhm.
totally agree with that because what keeps me knowing that it can happen, my aunt and uncle, they're about to celebrate, I think, I don't know, I think maybe 45 or 50 years of marriage.
Mhm.
Um, my mom's parents, my grandma and grandpa, they died when I was younger, when I was 6, but they were together for like probably 20, 30, 40 years. So
Mhm.
I was able to see both sides. I was able to see my grandpa and my uncles, but then I was able to see the other side of it where the men like men that are like, I don't want to call anybody out, but other people in my family or just, friends and different things like that. So I'm able
Mhm.
to see that it can happen,
Right.
that women can be treated like queens, that relationships can last in a healthy way 40 and 50 years. You know what I'm saying? That it can happen. So it's so important for people to see other, couples and men to see men like you do it because you never know. They might not even have anybody in their family to look at. You might be the only one that they could look at and see. So that's why I think it's so important for me to have you on here. Somebody on YouTube could be watching this 5 or 6 years from now and be like, well, if Coach R. Anthony could do it, I could do it too.
I mean, I feel like that. I feel like that with everybody. 'Cause it's like I wouldn't have known this if somebody didn't introduce it to me. I would have known that it was possible for a man to be happily
Exactly.
married. Like I've never heard I've never heard a man say, besides my mentor and myself. I mean, other guys I met, on Clubhouse, that they were happily married. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's such a foreign. Like you hear women say it a lot. You hear, but it's like for a man to not next to it. I'm talking about like his wife ain't standing right next to him.
Right, right. She's not holding a gun to his back like you
Right. She's
better
not
say
like,
we have.
yeah, you
Right,
better say you happily married. Nah.
right.
But like just on my own accord, it's like, man, it's a beautiful thing to like have the right woman for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's cool. It's really cool. It's really a beautiful thing. But I've noticed it follows, like, if you follow the pattern, it's like a recipe. You follow the recipe, you're gonna get the result. It's pretty straightforward.
Pretty cut forward. Y'all make sure y'all tap in before we go into hot topics in this game, and then I'm gonna let you get up out of here because I don't want to keep you here all night. Um, what projects do you have coming up, and where can people find you? What are you excited for in 2022? What do you and your wife have coming up? What are you envisioning for your podcast? What's going on for coaching and relationships and chilling his wife for 2022?
Well, get into other things besides, relationships. I was a truck driver before, and started, doing different things to make passive income. So I have that coming up in the woodworks. But as far as the relationship stuff goes, I'm looking forward to marriagemasterysecrets.com. That's one thing that is going to be great. And we got a card game, conversations for couples. We did some rooms on that, where we just kind of like walking through different questions and scenarios, and just kind of helping couples answer. And like, it's crazy because like we did one room one night, and the lady came in there. She was like, "Dang." Like 2 days later, well, the next, because we did it every night for 30 days. We did like a 30-day series. She came back. She's like, "I did it and it worked. What do I
Oh
do now?"
wow, this is on Clubhouse.
Yeah, this is on Clubhouse, but it's like, I really hope that people see that, it's not just good advice that gets a good relationship. Like,
Right,
that ain't gonna get it. Like,
you
I
gotta do
wish
the
it
work.
was. Yeah, it's like you got to have access and willingness to want to do the work,
Yes.
and then seeing the relationship past where you think it is right now.
That's so true. That's so true. I was listening to Michelle Williams from Destiny's Child. She has
Yeah.
a podcast called Checking In. Have you ever heard her podcast before?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's a health and wellness podcast because
Okay.
Michelle Williams has been open about her struggles with mental health and depression and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it's like a health and wellness podcast, and she has different guests. And I was listening to her podcast today, and she had Megan Good as her guest. And
Okay.
Megan was saying how, like, as much as she trusts God, she begins her day and ends her day with God, and she trusts and she has faith with God. But faith without works is dead. You still got to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
Right.
how, and the same thing with relationships. You could have the idea in your head that you want this perfect relationship, but if you just sit your butt on the couch and not do the work, you're not going to have that relationship that you want. So it's like, you got to put that work in. Absolutely.
But it's the right kind of work though.
And
Like,
the right
people,
kind of work. Yes.
because you could work. You know what I'm saying? It's people that work
Right.
a lot on their marriage, but it's like, is it the right work at the
Right.
right time?
Right. Constructive work.
Yeah, and time.
Work smarter.
But it's about timing too. That's the part that I don't think we talk enough about as people, is like, when it comes to everything in life, there's a time for everything. Because it's like, I can't go out in my yard and plant all year round.
Right.
There are certain seasons that the ground is more receptive to what I'm trying to plant. And there are certain seasons of life where you're more receptive to a relationship, and the right relationship. Most of the times we're out of alignment with ourselves because we don't recognize the season that we're in. And just like our own individual seasons, couples and relationships go through seasons as well. So what do? You need, this is the thing. Preparation is the key. When it comes to a relationship, preparation is the key. But then also rest is the key.
Preparation and rest.
Yes, because people think that it's just work. But then they get burnt out, and then they fall back into the same cycle again and again.
And they isolate.
And they go through the same patterns. It's like a revolving door.
Right.
Sometimes we gotta tell couples, don't do nothing. Just sit on what we just told you and don't do nothing. Because doing stuff is what getting y'all in trouble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all both think y'all right at the wrong time.
Yeah. Ain't we so confused,
Ain't
y'all?
no
We
question.
so damn confused.
But that's where you gotta like take a step back so you can see the rhythm of the
Yeah.
relationship. Yeah. But it's something that you learn. But the way we do it, we like literally break every aspect of the
Right.
relationship down so that the couple can see like, oh, this is how we've been operating. Like this is our pattern. This is how we keep getting to these fights and isolation and separation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we don't understand when we need to be doing the work and when we need to be doing rest. It's like you don't go to work 24 hours a day.
Right.
You got to go. You go to work
Yeah.
and then you go home and go to sleep.
Yeah, that's true. There's a time for work and a time for rest. Even Jesus
Exactly.
told us that, labor, rest on that seventh day.
And
I hear you.
you gotta rest your relationship on certain days too. Like we ain't
Right.
gonna argue today. We might argue tomorrow,
Right.
but today
We
is
putting
our
this
rest.
down.
Yeah,
Right.
for
It's
real.
our rest day. We'll pick this back up tomorrow. Yes. Oh man, I'm so blessed. It's such a blessing to have you here. And like I said, I'm so thankful to have such incredible people tapping in on here, giving these gems. Thank you so much. You're not going nowhere yet, Coach, because we got a little game that I want to play, and I want to ask you about some hot topics real quick. But this is what I wanted to ask you. You and your wife, you guys should definitely do a master class. And if you don't have a book coming out, you guys definitely need to put a book out. I'm putting that in the universe.
Oh yeah, we got stuff.
Master classes, books, seminars, all kind of stuff.
Yeah, we got all that coming. We got so much stuff coming up. Yeah, but thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Make sure y'all tap in with Coach R. Anthony. I put his Instagram on the bottom. Tap in with his wife. They're on Clubhouse. You can also message him for some coaching that if you want, I guess, one-on-one or relationship coaching sessions, he's available for that. And before you get up out of here, Coach, I usually do a little bit of hot topics, and then I do like a red flag or deal breaker game or a would you rather game with people. So I wanted to get into this hot topic real quick, right? Because I feel like it has to do with relationships. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but Kanye and Kim, they've been in the news. Are you aware of what's going on with those two?
Somewhat. I know they're not together, and she's
Yeah.
dating the other guy, and
Right.
yeah, that part. Yeah, that's
Okay,
about
so
all.
yeah, so I think their separation has been finalized as of I think yesterday. It was breaking news. It was either yesterday or the day before. But I mean, since they've separated, Kanye has been, dating women. He's been on, he's having these tirades online. He's now dating a woman who is literally a carbon copy of Kim K. She's a Kim K lookalike. Have you seen her?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you think what first of all, what do you think about what are your thoughts on that relationship and how what's like I guess what I'm asking you is what do you feel like they could like what is your advice on that whole situation if you were like advising them or you're a relationship coach from the outside, like what is your whole opinion on what's going on with this? And then they got the 4 kids and it's just a lot. They've been in the media a lot. It's very toxic.
I really couldn't tell you because I would have to hear their demands, but
Right.
like what he is wanting, because I don't know what he wants, and I don't know what she wants. I guess she wants to,
Right.
like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I really don't know.
Well, let me ask you this. What do you make of this whole carbon copy Kim lookalike thing that Kanye is doing? Do you feel like he's trying to like replicate another Kim? Like what is up with this?
It happens. It does happen.
That's so
happen.
strange.
No, it does happen. It's like you can't get the thing you want, so you get the thing that's close enough.
That's so embarrassing.
But still, it's like I don't know. I think Kanye wants the idea that he has of
Right.
who he wants her to be, but he's not accepting the reality that she's not ever gonna be what he thinks she should be.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest challenge he's having from her is she like as much as he wanted her to be different, he realized that it wasn't much she can do. And I'm sure the same is true for her. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure to a certain degree she was like, everybody's calling him crazy and blah 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 and all this stuff, and it's like, no, I can, you know what I'm saying? So I think
Yeah.
they had that both going since the beginning. But
Yeah.
then and this is the key to it all, Miss Angie.
Okay.
I tell everybody, relationships fall apart from transitions more than anything. I don't care, like money, sex, all that, kids, like relationships fall apart mainly because of transition. The relationship was not prepared for that happened.
Right.
And that's where relationships start to fall apart. And so I think when you have the idea of the person that you want to have, then you have all of these different things that happen, like him running for president. Then they had
Right.
kids. They had kids first. I'm sorry, they had kids running for president. Like all this stuff. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Her
And
becoming a lawyer.
her becoming a lawyer, like that was a transition. That was something. That was a shift. And I think we all get into that trap. Like
Right.
as long as things remain the same, I think we'll be okay. But we get uncomfortable when things don't change, and that's the
Yes.
crazy.
You got to be able to adapt with change. It's so crazy because I heard this woman say, I forgot where I heard it because my memory is not good, but I think that she was with her husband, I want to say like 50 or 60 years. And she said what kept them together is they was able to stay together through all her metamorph. You're different people. You
Right.
go through you're different people from now to 50 years. They was able to keep that through that. And you got to be able to keep, like you just said, you got to be able to navigate with the change. You're the same person. I think I heard Remy Ma say this on Mano's podcast yesterday. If you knew me from high school, you didn't know me because I'm a different person than I was 20 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're together in a relationship and you're together 5 years, 10 years, whatever, you're not going to be that same person day one than you are. Right. Right.
But that's why I never really subscribed to like, okay, a person has been married for 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever years. That don't really matter to me. What matters to me is the quality of those years.
Yeah.
Like, I've met couples that's been married for 20, 30 years.
And miserable.
Not even miserable, but they've only been technically married for like 1 year.
Right. Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like they've only like really married, like, and by married, I mean merged, like where they're actually interacting and talking and getting to know one another. They did that in year one and never did it again.
Yeah.
So guess what we had to do? We had to go all the way back to year one.
Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
But it was good.
That's a lot of work.
That's what they needed though. That's what they needed, because it was like, y'all left the, you know what I'm saying? We got to go pick that back up. Y'all dropped something. Y'all dropped something 19 years ago. We need to go pick that back up.
Right. Exactly. Oh man. Well, good luck to Kim and Kanye. I feel like every guest I have on here, I just ask them the same question about them because it's just what's going on right now. And it's just like, it's a lot. I just wish them the best. The other hot topic that I want to talk to you about that everybody's talking about now, that's relationship based, before we go into this quick game. Have you seen the movie The Tinder Swindler on Netflix?
I haven't.
Did you hear about that movie?
I saw some stuff online, but I didn't know what it was about, to be honest. Like I saw a picture of a dude with a watch on. I've been seeing that like picture, but I didn't know what it meant. So I didn't get.
Yeah, so basically this guy, he was, everybody is dating through these dating apps now. So it was an Israeli guy who was on Tinder, and he was basically meeting women off the app and swindling them for their money. He was meeting these girls, having them fall in love with him, taking them on private jets and all over the world, because he was lying and saying that he was part of this, like, I don't know, like this royal, like jewelry family and all this other kind of stuff. But he had kind of like a Ponzi scheme going. So he would scheme one woman to finance the lifestyle for the next woman, scheme that woman to finance the lifestyle. So he was like swindling these women, but he was able to, like, before he before he got the money out of them, he was able to bring them on private jets and do all this lavish stuff to get them to believe that he had money. And then once they believed he had money and they quote unquote fell in love, then he would say, "Oh, my enemies are after me. I need to shut all my credit cards down. I need you to open up this, account for me." And he swindles so like millions of dollars from these women. There's like a whole documentary on it. On Netflix. So if you get a chance, check that out. And it's so crazy because the guy's not in jail and he's charging for cameos now. Like there's this app called Cameo where people can order cameos and everybody wants to hear him say, "My enemies are after me." And he's like selling that. It's such a joke. I can't even deal. But I feel like, it revolves around dating because what do you think is the best way for people to connect in 2022 for a healthy dating life, like, and not get swindled? Do you think these apps, like, what do you think? Are you old school? You think people should meet people at a party, or like, how do you and your wife, I guess, first, let me ask this question. Do you and your wife work with singles, or you guys just work with people in a relationship?
Mainly, like the main people that come to us are singles.
Okay.
We have our dating spaces, but I think it's unfortunate, obviously, but I don't think there's I always tell people this: wherever you go, that's where you're gonna be at. Like you ain't gonna escape your ability or inability to make decisions, even if you on an app or you in person. Like your way of thinking is gonna always follow you around. It's your credit score. It's your virtual and in-person credit score in terms of like the decisions that you make. Right. And for me, my wife was all the way in a whole nother country in Canada.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah, she was in Canada. And I saw a picture of her and I was like, that's gonna be my woman.
I was gonna ask you how y'all met too.
Yeah, that's gonna be my woman. But that's the thing, like once you get clear on what it is that you want, it don't like you gonna know what you need to do. Is like I was not supposed to even be on, like I was just minding my business one day and I was just rolling down the news feed like normal, and I saw a picture of four young ladies, whatever, and I saw her and I said, that's her.
Oh my God, how you knew? They say like right away. Like you knew right away.
I knew immediately. Like I was like, that's gonna be my woman.
Wow. Oh my God, that's so awesome. That's so awesome.
That's like what I'm saying. Like I was prepped because at that point I was just like, I know, like this is the key to all of it. As far as even if you're in a relationship or if you're single, what do I want the rest of my life to look like with someone?
Right.
And the clearer that you get with that, the thing that makes you feel the most is the thing you're more than likely going to get next. So if I am like thinking like, dang, it's going to be nice to be able to, and it's like spend time just laying on the couch with somebody. It's amazing how within the next season of my life, I find myself laying on the couch with somebody.
You're manifesting that for yourself.
Exactly. And it's all through feelings, right?
Right.
So that's what I said, like the way we teach dating is you have to connect with what it is that you want through the feeling first.
Right.
And then make every decision in alignment with that feeling.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is my lifestyle going to be like? How is it going to be with this relationship? I need to make sure if I say I'm going to do something, I got to do it.
And this is before you meet the person.
This is before you meet the person.
Got
this
it.
puts you in position to actually be able to meet and know this is the person.
Because you're going in there with a game plan. You going in there with what you want.
You ain't got no game plan. It's not a game plan. And
well, the reason I say it's a game plan, meaning like you kind of know in your heart, like because you were saying like assess, see what it is that you want your relationship to look like, and go out there and look for that. So I feel like
don't look. That's what I'm saying. Like it's not a looking thing. I don't have to look. Once I put my once I put it out in the atmosphere, it's gonna come. That's the thing. It's like I just got to be prepared. That's why I said preparation is the key. Because like we do this with married couples, we do this with singles. Once you put your request out there and you're like, you know
Into
what?
the universe.
Once you put it out there, it's like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I just got to be ready for when it does happen. I ain't had
Right.
no game plan. I wasn't even looking for my woman. I just saw a picture and I said, that's her.
Wow.
That was like, because at that point I already knew I was going to get it because everything else in my life was situated to receive. I was
I see.
open to receive it.
That's what Coach Christina says all the time as well. Yep.
Well,
Well, exactly. Hello, Sir Mentor right here.
it's true. I mean, when you're open to receiving, you know, the things that are in alignment with that way of being just naturally gravitate towards you. It's like when you know how it is when you like, dang, I'm feeling good. All of a sudden, like all this stuff, this good
Yes.
stuff is happening. It was like, dang, I got a call from this person, and then
Yep.
this person, and then you know what I'm saying? Like,
It's like
and
the
then,
Ice Cube song, Today Was a Good Day.
there you go.
Everything was perfect.
Everything was, and you go, and we go through periods and seasons like that. We go through seasons where, like, and then you go through periods, and then at a certain point, and you just gotta say, make the decision that it's gonna happen,
Right.
based on the fact that I've always thought my way into the things that I said I was gonna have.
Yeah.
I just decided that this is what I wanted to do, and I positioned myself, and I did all these little things, and then all of a sudden, boom! It's like it took off. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to relationships. So whether or not you go on a dating app, you meet somebody in person, or you meet them, you know what I'm saying, through a friend, you're gonna make the same decisions that you did prior to, unless you make some adjustments.
Yes, that's so true. Or you keep meeting the same guy.
You keep
Cause
meeting the same person.
yeah, you keep meeting the same person. Cause for me, I feel like I'm like a guy in a certain way. You know how guys are able to like meet girls and they can compartmentalize them? Like, all right, she's pretty, she's beautiful, she may be cool to have fun with, but I can't see myself in a relationship with her. I'm able to do that. I'm able to separate that. Maybe I got to stop doing that because I feel not to say that I'm constantly doing that with new people because
Okay.
a lot of times, I'll be like, you know what? I got to work on myself. There's so much shadow work I have to do. There's so much work I got to do, as Angie. But for the physical part, I might have this person that I go back to that I could not see myself in a relationship with, that I would not introduce to my family, that we don't make a good team, but that part is there. I gotta stop probably doing that, right, Coach?
Well, that's because you're compartmentalizing, and there's like separation in that. Like, if you don't, this is the thing, if you don't believe that you can get everything you want from the right person, because it's like I would ask women that question, like, tell me one, like, the person that you love the most, and it was always like something was, something was missing. Like, okay,
Yeah.
like, I loved him, he loved me, but he wasn't that attractive or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that, those little things, or the sex wasn't that great, but we connected,
Yeah.
we talked about all this stuff, or we talked about all this stuff, and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or the sex was great, but we don't talk about nothing. We don't have no connection. It's like, but
Yeah. It's
when
like
you
you're settling.
it's not even settling. It's like, the reason why that happens is because when you the reason why that happens typically, actually, is because internally, emotionally, we're emotionally or internally fragmented. Meaning that, like, for me, I had to, like, the totality of the kind of relationship that I wanted. Like, what would it take? Like, what would it take for the kind of relationship that I want to create to work? The
Right.
one thing I could consolidate was friendship.
Right.
So and that had to become the most important thing. Everything else had to take a back seat. The sex,
Yeah.
physical attraction, all that stuff is great, but I
I
know
see.
how fragmented it is. I know you can get that from all kinds of different
Yes.
people.
You're right.
But the one thing that I could see myself having for the duration of my life
The
was the
center.
friendship. Right. This is the
Yeah.
centerpiece of the relationship. Is the
Right.
friendship, the connection, the way we interact with one another. That
Right.
was the most important thing. That's number one. I
The
put that on
heartbeat.
top.
Right.
That's the heart of the whole situation. Then you start building around that, and you say,
Right.
I'm gonna get all this other stuff. it's just natural for me to get this other stuff. And
Right.
then I just said, I'm gonna put that in the ground of the universe, and I'm just gonna allow it to happen because I know it can happen because I manifested. Think about this, Ange, and I'm sure anybody else. how many times you've thought about a type of person, like physically, like you want a dark skinned guy or you want a curvy woman or whatever, and within a certain time frame, you interacted with one that was cool, and then y'all
Yeah.
talk, and then all of a sudden it's like, dang, like this is the type of person that I was thinking about, and it's like
Yeah.
that's how that stuff be working. So it's like that same power you got to create and attract that type of thing on a physical level, you just have to switch it over to the.
So this is what I'm gonna tell you. God, give me a man like Jay-Z. You see? I'm manifesting that. I'm putting that in the world, Lord.
Next
I'm
question.
just joking.
You want me to tell you how you can get that?
How, Coach?
You want me to tell you for real? I'll tell you.
Tell me.
Everything you say you want from a person, write
Become
down
that.
why.
Oh, write down why? Got it.
Yeah. Write down why you want it and why it's important that you get that. And I guarantee you, the more detail you get with why you want it, the easier it's going to be to attract it.
I see that. You're so right. There was a book that Coach Christina told me to read. It was called The Power by Rhonda Burns. The Power, I think it's called. And everything that you're saying, she was saying that in the book.
Okay.
Have you ever read that?
Mm-mm.
I think Coach Christina was saying that book changed her life. That and another book. I'll send you because I ordered both of them on Audible. And everything that you're saying is in Rhonda Burns' book. It's called The Power. She's the same author as The Secret. I don't know if you ever saw The Secret before.
Yeah.
It's in that same family of, putting it out there in the universe and stuff like that.
It works. If you put a strong enough why behind anything, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
The doctor come and tell you tomorrow, hey, if you don't start doing X, Y, and Z, you're going to die in a year. That's a strong why. And that's why people usually get, usually take care of business and do what they got to do. But it's like, if you can get the person you want and you're going to spend the rest of your life with them and y'all going to have a beautiful life, it's like, why would I waste my time just interacting with people randomly when I'm putting off the very thing that's going to benefit me the most throughout the duration of my life?
Absolutely.
If you value your life, I'm like, shoot, I don't want to spend time wasting my life with just random frivolous pursuits.
So true.
So
that's so true. But you know what, Coach? We're almost at 2 hours. I don't want this to cap us. Don't go nowhere. Guys, we're going to come back with another segment, and I wanted to do Would You Rather. I got a few questions. We could film another segment real quick with Would You Rather, because we almost at 2 hours, and I don't want this to cap us, and I want us to be able to get everything out. So what I'm going to do is, Coach, thank you. We're going to end this segment and then come back with another one. Coach, thank you so much for tapping in, being a guest on my podcast. I am so blessed to have such awesome people come by. You're a friend to the show now. You could come back whenever you want. I definitely want to have you come back with your wife one more time. Tell the people where to find you.
You can find us at relationshipsandchill.com, Clubhouse, Coach R. Anthony. On Instagram, Coach R. Anthony as well. It's just spelled out one word. That's the best one to reach me. Just Coach R. Anthony. And Clubhouse, Coach R. Anthony. I mean, you can find me on all these various platforms under Coach R. Anthony. We have different projects coming up and different things that we're doing when it comes to relationships and dating and just personal growth. That's our main focus. So, hey, thank you, Ange, for having me. I'm just a squirrel.
He always say that to me. I'm just a squirrel in Angie's world. Nah, man. Listen, I'm going to tell you like I tell everybody else, man, you could be anywhere in the world, but you decided to be in Angie's world. And for that, I love you. We'll be back with another segment. We out of here for now. Peace. Don't go nowhere, Coach R. Anthony, but peace out, y'all.